Ursula?
All right, I'm figuring this out.
Perfect.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. I heard from Cherie a few minutes ago that she will not be here this evening.
Okay, thank you.
So, so how hard did you have to work to get a short agenda?
This is just our lucky day, Ursula. It it happens about one time a year.
That's what I'm afraid of.
We've got to enjoy it while we've got it. You have a lot of meetings, though, it seems like, with different boards and commissions that you're on now.
Yeah, it's getting. I'll be ready for this year to be over.
Yeah. It some weeks I bet you spend a full-time job on volunteering for us.
This is the reason I'm supposed to be retired.
Yes.
I got to tell you, I didn't plan very well.
Ursula's Tim Haney. Do you need me tonight?
Likely. Just a second.
I'll stand by.
Thank you.
Tim, no, we have two other alternates. Let's see who all shows up, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll hold out.
Myrna, are you on the meeting?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is September 1st, 2020. The time is 6 p.m. This is the City of Georgetown, Texas Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this time, I'm going to ask the recording secretary to please call the roll so we can determine which commissioners are in attendance. Myrna?
Myrna, are you there?
She says she's not muted, and the answer is you are.
Mm-hmm. Let me unmute her here.
There, she's up, she's up.
It looks like she's getting on. Just a second, please. Ethan, do you happen to have a roster there in front of you that we could call roll for Myrna?
I have one. I can call it. Aaron Albright,
Present.
Arlene McMichael,
Present.
Travis Perthius,
Here.
Kayla McCord, Cherie Heinzman. She's not going to be here this evening. Jay Warren,
Sir, yes, sir.
Alex Fuller, James Kaufman,
Here.
Jerry McCulley, Jim Salyer,
Here.
Tim Haney.
Here.
Okay, so I'm showing 2 vacancies, Kayla McCord and Cherie Heinzman. And I have available alternates, Jimmy Kaufman and Jerry McCulley, who've been the, who are up to serve. So I'm sorry, McCulley's not here. Jim Salyer. So we're going to move Jimmy Kaufman and Jim Salyer to the commission dais, and we have a quorum, so I will now call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to this regularly scheduled P&Z Commission meeting. Our meeting tonight is being held as a teleconference. The complete agenda, all 1,551 pages, are available for anyone who wants to read them. They're all posted online and available for public review. Commission members are appointed by the mayor and the city council for the purpose of reviewing land use applications. For some of those, the commission will be the final authority. For others, notably those things such as zoning and annexation, the commission will act as an advisory body, and as such just makes recommendations to the council for their considerations. In a few minutes, we're going to hear from Sophia Nelson, who will walk us through the process of how all parties can participate in this teleconference meeting. Tonight's agenda is a extremely light agenda. So I'm going to touch on the consent, how we'll handle that. We have no items posted for the legislative agenda unless there are items that get pulled as part of the consent. If we have a legislative regular agenda, I'll go into how we're going to process that if we get there. So as to the consent agenda, any items that the director considers routine and non-controversial or don't require public hearing are grouped together and can be decided by a single motion. That being said, any item on the consent agenda can be moved to the legislative regular agenda for a full presentation and discussion by the commission or members of the public. Before we take any action on the consent agenda, I will first ask if any commissioners have any items they need to abstain, or if they have any items they want pulled from the consent agenda and move to the legislative regular agenda. After that, I will ask if any member of the public has any item on the consent agenda that they want pulled and moved to the legislative regular agenda so that item can be discussed and acted on individually. We have no legislative regular agenda items at this moment. So let's start with item A, and Sophia, ask you to discuss how we can all participate.
Yes, thank you. Welcome everybody to this meeting. And it's a short agenda, but I do want to share that if you are here to speak on a particular item, there's a few different ways that you can make your comment. One is to be able to use the chat function and let me know that you'd like to speak on a particular item. The second is to raise your hand using that function here on the screen. And the last part is if for some reason you are on the telephone, please just wait until the chair asks you to speak and then state your comment at that time. If you have any technical difficulties during this meeting, please feel free to chat me. I'm watching the chat and I'll do my very best to help you work through that during this meeting. Other than that, please just mute yourself when you're not speaking so that we can improve the sound quality. And please also state your name before speaking so that our recording secretary can take accurate minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to item B, and as is the city's normal procedure, an opportunity is provided for any member of the public that would like to address the commission on an item that's not on the agenda. To get on the commission's agenda, we ask that you contact our staff liaison and at least a week before our scheduled meeting, and so that you can be posted, your item can be posted, and we can hear from you at that time. At the time of this posting, no persons had signed up to address the board, so we're going to move to item C, which is our consent agenda. So, commissioners, let me ask, do you have any items on the consent agenda that you want to abstain on or you want to pull? Not hearing anyone. Are there any members of the public who have any items listed on the consent agenda that you want to have pulled and moved to the legislative regular agenda?
Mr. Chair, this
Yes.
is Jeff. This is Jeff Guerrero. I'm the applicant for item I of tonight's consent agenda, and I would like to request that that get pulled from the consent agenda.
Okay. All right. Item I. Any other items? If not, commissioners, as to the consent agenda, the floor is open to a motion.
Jay, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented by staff.
Subject to moving item I.
Moving on. In question on that, are we moving it to be considered, or are we
No,
just moving it completely?
It gets pulled to and moved to the legislative regular agenda.
Okay.
So we'll get a full presentation. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chair, this is Marlene McMichael. I'll second it.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. Myrna, are you able to call the roll?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Aaron Albright,
Yes.
Marlene McMichael,
Yes.
Travis Perthius,
Yes.
Jay Warren,
Yes, ma'am.
James Kaufman,
Yes.
Jim Sawyer,
Yes.
Ursula Brashear.
Yes. Okay, the motion carries 7-0. That takes us to item I. This is consideration and possible action to approve with the conditions set forth in the item an application for construction plans consisting of approximately 38.098 acres in the William Edison Survey, Abstract 21, generally located at the South Pinnacle Drive on Maple Street, to be known as Mariquin Phase 1. That's file number 2020-22-CON. David Monk.
Yes, this was a regular construction plan, and from what I understand, the developer wanted to pull it and pull it off the agenda, or so. It wasn't that it was a problem with it, and Jeff Guerrero, I think, can answer it better than I can. I'm not sure why it was pulled. I wasn't in but I think Jeff knows.
Okay.
That was my question.
Well, let's hold up here just a second. When we have a shot clock rules and we have a set of plans, in this case, the applicant has the benefit of forcing the city to take an action on the item within a certain time frame. As I understand this, and Jeff, you need to go ahead and address why you were asked that this be pulled, so we can understand the motivation for us discussing this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Thank you, and good evening to everybody virtually this evening. The request that I have before you is to pull the item as approved, as it was originally set to be approved at tonight's meeting. We are requesting an extension of the action on this construction plan application on behalf of our client to push the consideration of approval of this item for a period of 2 weeks to the next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And the reason for the request is we were set to receive approval on the construction plans with the condition of approval of the preliminary plan, which is still in review. And we are anticipating approval of that preliminary plan to be on the September 15th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. So our intentions with this request was to try to have both the preliminary plan and the construction plans approved on the same evening, so that we would not have to go back to a future Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to have the condition removed on the construction plans if the application were to be approved by the commission this evening.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Sophia, this is a question for you. Given that the legislation is pretty specific that if we don't act within the time frame set forth by the shot clock rules, do we run any kind of risk that this is an automatic approval if we don't act on it this evening?
No, just be very clear about the timeline in which you're needing to move forward.
So we would need to say that our action is contingent upon, or is to, well, because I've got a recommendation for approval, so we're basically would have to have a motion to defer action on this until the, what's the next meeting, the 15th?
Yes, sir, that's right. Let me check that date, but yes, it would be the deferral to the 15th as per at the request of the applicant.
At the request of the applicant, okay. Okay, commissioners, any questions for staff or for the applicant? If not, then the floor is open for a motion.
Ursula, this is Jimmy. I move that we defer action on item I until September 15th, at which time action will be taken.
At the request of the applicant?
At the request of the applicant.
Okay. Do I have a second?
This is Aaron.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, Jay?
Yes, sir. I'll
Okay.
second.
Any discussion or comments? All right, then Myrna, call the roll, please.
Aaron Albright,
Yes.
Marlene McMichael,
Yes.
Travis Perthias,
Yes.
Jay Warren,
Pam.
Jimmy Kaufman,
Yes.
Jim Sawyer,
Yes.
Ursula Brashear.
Yes. So the motion carries 7-0. We'll see this one back on the 15th. Takes us to item X and this discussion items. Sophia, any comments or items that you'd like to report on?
No, sir. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Updates from other boards and commission meetings. I will tell you quickly that the mobility bond committee has started. Their first meeting was held just over a week ago, and a very general discussion, no real specifics, just basically outlining the process, but everything starts basically on the 14th of this month. So we'll see a lot more activity then. Any questions or comments from alternate members? Myrna, we have a note here that our September 15th meeting would be at the Council and Courts building starting at 6 p.m. Is that confirmed, or possibility we still doing teleconference?
No, it'll still be teleconference. I did not change that when I posted this, but it should be it'll be a teleconference.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about
that. Not a problem. With that, I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
This is Jimmy. I move we adjourn.
Okay. You're getting all your money's worth tonight.
I'm getting hungry.
Do I have a second?
Jay, I'll second.
All right. Motion is second. Call the roll, Myrna, please.
Aaron Albright,
Yes.
Marlene McMichael,
Yes.
Travis Berthius,
Yes.
Jay Warren,
Yes, ma'am.
Jimmy Kaufman, Jimmy Kaufman,
Yes.
Jim Sawyer,
Yes.
Ursula Brashear.
Yes. So the motion carries 7-0, and the meeting is adjourned at 6:18. Marvelous work, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you so
good-
much.